Good morning, everybody. Welcome you all to the discussion on the introduction of machines, a continued part. In the last class, we have already discussed regarding Rayleigh's method of dimensional analysis. In today's class, we'll be discussing on Buckingham's pi theorem for dimensional analysis. In the Rayleigh's method, we are using it especially when the number of variables present in a given problem are less in number. If the number of variables go on increasing, then it is not so much efficient and it becomes very much difficult to find using the Rayleigh's method. So today we'll be discussing on Buckingham's pi theorem for getting the equations, developing the equations using this particular method. So let us move one by one. If you have any doubts or any queries, you can email me to this email IDs or even send me your message through this WhatsApp number also. Yes, as I was discussing that, the Buckingham's pi theorem, which we are using, this Buckingham's pi theorem, it states that if there are n number of variables, so in a given question, if there are n number of variables, those n number of variables from a given homogeneous dimension, there are n number of variables, those n number of variables in a dimensional homogeneous equation, and if these variables contain m number of fundamental dimensions, if it contain m number of fundamental dimensions, that is the fundamental dimensions for any quantity you take, they are MLT itself, which means by default the value of m will be 3 itself, and they are grouped together as n minus m, that is n minus m is equal to the given number of, or to find the number of non-dimensional independent pi terms we need to find out. So the value we get it here, that is nothing but it is the value of the non-independent pi terms which you need to find out. Suppose if we write it in this form, that is let x1, x2, x3, x1, x2, x3, so on up to xn, they are the number of variables involved in a given particular problem. Out of that, suppose say that x1 is one dependent variable. It is a dependent variable and it depends upon the other variables. Which are other variables? That is x2, x3, so on up to xn. So generally how we will write this as expression, that is the dependent variable x1, it is depend upon which? The other variables, that is function of x2, x so on to xn, which means these variables x2, x3, so on to xn, what are they? They are independent variables and they are nothing but responsible for getting the value of the dependent variable xn. But even if in the problem you don't know which is a dependent or independent variable, then in a generalized form, how we can write this equation, we are writing in this particular form, that is function of including even the dependent and independent variables together itself, x1, x2, x3, so on to xn is equal to c. So right, c means it is the constant term. It is a constant term. So where c is constant and this f is nothing but it is the function representing function of both dependent and independent variables together is equal to constant term c. So according to Buckingham's pi theorem, how we can write the equation? We are writing in this form: f1 is equal to pi 1, pi 2, pi 3, so on to pi of n minus m is equal to n minus m constant of the other terms, that is n minus m to the constant terms. Before we go for this particular theorem, we need to go through some of the steps for writing the Buckingham's pi theorem, that is how to implement this Buckingham's pi theorem. Let us see the steps. So these are some of the steps which you see here. The first step is we have to write down the functional relationship. So in a given question, if there are the variables given in that one, then we have to note down the given number of variables in a particular problem. That is, you have to write it as the function of number of variables, how many are different. For example, in a question, if I say there is pressure is one of my variable, volume is my variable, density is my variable, so kinematic viscosity. So all these variables you have to write down is equal to constant c. This is the first step. So writing the functional relationship, and we are writing the equation, the general form in the form of the pi term itself. I will tell you when we will start a discussion of one problem. So after writing this one, we need to choose some of m as the repeating variables. and you have to write the separate expressions for each of the pi terms. And every pi term which you are choosing, it should contain repeating variables as well as one of the remaining variable. I will tell you in further slides where how to choose the repeating variables and what are the remaining variables. Then the repeating variables which you are choosing, you write it in the exponential form. Suppose if I say my repeating variable is diameter d, so you have to write its exponential form, means in the form of a1 or d to the power of a2 or d to the power of a3. So this a1, a2, a3 is nothing but it is the exponential form. Then with the help of this dimensional homogeneity, you have to write it for all the things which you are seeing, that is for all the pi terms, and write it in the form of dimensional homogeneity to get the values of a, b, c using the value of exponents. Once you get the values of a, b, c, you have to substitute in the dimensional homogeneity equation such that you will get the resulting pi terms. The resulting pi terms, they are nothing but pi 1, pi 2, pi 3, so on, depending upon the value of n minus m what you have got. And then we are writing the functional relation, how you require for your particular equation. So I was telling you some of the conditions to choose the repeating variables, which we have discussed here in point number 3 regarding repeating variables. So when we are choosing the repeating variables, you have to note down some of the points. The first important point is when you choose any variable as a repeating variable, compulsorily it should have dimensions. So the first point we have said is the variable should be selected in such a way that none of them is dimensionless. So the repeating variables which you are choosing, them you should see that they should have compulsory dimensions. Second important point is no two variables should have the same dimensions, which means if you go for energy, work, torque, all these are having the same dimensions itself. So if in a question, if you're having all these three variables, you cannot take all three together as your repeating variables because they will be having the same dimensions. This is highlighted here in this particular point. Third point is you should see that as far as possible, your dependent variable. So you should, if you are finding the power of any particular equation, so power is a dependent variable. So this dependent variable, it should not become as your repeating variable. So this you should be very you should take care. So when you are reading the question, in the question itself, it will be said that there is one particular thing which is a dependent variable. That dependent variable should not be taken as your repeating variable. Now, the next important thing is when you choose the repeating variables, it should follow under three categories. The first category which you are observing right now here is regarding geometric property. So the repeating variable, once we choose, one should be of under geometric property, one should be of a flow property, and there should be of a fluid property. What do you mean by geometric property? Geometric property already we have discussed in the previous videos also, and even I given a table regarding the dimension analysis where I have categorized the dimensions based upon geometry, flow as well as fluid. So any shape and size physically you can see it is nothing but a geometric property itself. So you can say the diameter, length, breadth, width, they are all coming under geometric properties. They are all coming under geometric properties. That is these properties. If you go with respect to speed n, yes, if you go with respect to speed, that is speed n, velocity, or with respect to time, you can say that they are coming under flow properties. And remaining variables, that is such as pressure, density, viscosity, other variables which are nothing but the fluid properties, they are coming under these characteristics, that is the fluid properties. So these conditions you have to keep into mind and write down the repeating variables. So now just we'll discuss one of a problem where we'll come to understand how we have chosen the repeating variables. So let us move further. So here one question is given here, which you can see here. Performance of a turbo machine. Performance means what? Of a turbo machine, which were turbo machine performance of a turbo machine. It depends upon these variables. Which are these variables? As he has said, there is a discharge, speed, rotor diameter, energy per unit mass flow, power, density, dynamic viscosity. These are the variables. So how many number of variables we can see here right now? If you observe here carefully, number one, discharge, speed, number two, that is N, size or rotor diameter D, 3, energy per unit mass flow GH, 4, power P, 5, density of fluid, 6, dynamic viscosity of fluid, 7. Out of this number of variables, total number of variables is 7. One is your dependent variable and the remaining 6, they are independent variables. So you have to find which is the dependent variable. If you read the statement carefully, you can judge which is. So one is dependent variable, another 6 are independent variables. So the variation of 6 variables, these independent variables, they will give the result of that particular dependent variable itself. So if you read the question carefully, what it has said performance of a turbo machine. So what is the function of a turbo machine or a device which you see here? It has to either absorb the power or it has to generate the power. So what it means here, your term power, what it is nothing but a dependent variable, either to absorb or to generate energy, and is dependent upon which? The other 7 independent variables, 6 independent variables, that is discharge Q, speed N, rotor diameter D, energy per unit mass flow GH, density rho, viscosity mu. So you have written that the number of variables, total number of variables, including the dependent and independent together, its value is how much? 7. So N value is 7. Number of fundamental dimensions, M is equal to 3. So the resulting N minus M, how much you get? 7 minus 3, it is equal to 4. Or the number of pi terms are pi 1, pi 2, pi 3, pi 4. So these many number of pi terms you need to find out. And when you want to write the pi term equation, I told you one condition, that is a choosing of repeating variables. So the repeating variables, how we need to choose? You need to choose in such a fashion that one should have a geometric property, one should have flow property as well as fluid property. Let us see which are the variables which can get geometric properties, flow properties. So if you observe in the 7 variables, the geometric property, if you observe, this is your geometric property. So diameter D, it is coming under geometric property. Then coming on to flow property, if you observe here on the flow property, you are using this particular speed, it is coming under flow property. Even the discharge can also be used, but if you compare with the discharge and speed, the speed can be taken very, very well, because its dimensions is only how much? T raised to minus 1 regarding speed. So automatically the simplification becomes more easier. That is the reason that what I take here right now is I take only the speed as my flow property. I take speed as my flow property. Similarly, with respect to fluid property now, so for the fluid, the properties which you can see here is, one we have is the density, one we have is the dynamic viscosity. Either of two you can choose any one. So if you take the dynamic viscosity, it contains all the 3 dimensions, mass, length, time, whereas the density of fluid, it contains only 2 dimensions. So the simplification becomes more easy. So either you can take this as your fluid property, that is your density, or you can take dynamic viscosity also. You can take dynamic viscosity and get the solution. But the thing is, as it is having 3 dimensions, that is both the existence of mass, length, and time, simplification becomes a little bit more, it will take some more time. So that is the reason that for our simplification, I will consider density as our fluid property. So once I consider this one, our equation, we are writing it as in the form of the repeating variables as geometry property D, flow property as N, fluid property as dynamic viscosity, that is rho. What are our remaining variables? Out of 7, I have written here 4 variables. Which are the remaining variables? Remaining variables is discharge Q, speed N, then we have energy per unit. Sorry, this is not our remaining variable. That is the speed. Sorry, one is our repeating variable, that is Q. Second one is energy per unit mass flow, GH. Then we have the remaining variable as P, and the last one is viscosity. So totally, how many number of variables we have? 4 number of variables. How many number of pi terms we have? We are 4 terms. That is pi 1, pi 2, pi 3, and pi 4. So automatically what happens? You can use each variable for each pi term. So for pi 1, you can use Q. For pi 2, GH, like this. So as we go on the further process, you'll come to know how we are using this particular method. So let us start with the solution now. Yes. As I told you, once we have got the particular question, we have to write the function of all the dependent and independent variables together itself. That is function of Q, N, D, G, H, P, rho, U is equal to right hand side is constant term. Number of variables, they are 7, N is equal to 7. Fundamental variables, M is equal to 3. So number of pi terms, how much we get? N minus 7, 7 minus 3 is 4 itself. And now we have to choose the repeating variables. So the repeating variables which I have chosen is geometric property as D, flow property as N, that is speed, fluid property as rho, density. Now we shall write the pi terms equation for each case. So how many pi equations we have? N minus M is equal to 4, which means we are having 4 pi terms. So first pi 1. So which one? The first pi 1 term which you are seeing right now here is how I am writing. Pi 1 is equal to d to the power of a1 exponent a1, d to the power of a1. Similarly, d to the power of a2, d to the power of a1, n to the power of b1, root to the power of c1, and the first remaining variable which I have taken is discharge q. Now we have to apply dimensional homogeneity on both sides. As we are having pi 1 on the LHS side, we don't know dimensions, so we can write it as non-dimensional term, that is m to the power of 0, L to the power of 0, t to the power of 0 is equal to RHS side, that is the dimension of diameter, speed, density, and discharge. So let us see what do we get when we write the dimensions of both the LHS and RHS together regarding the dimensional homogeneity, that is m0 L0 t0 is equal to L to the power of a1, t minus 1 to the power of b1, m into L to the power of minus 3 c1, then discharge L to the power of 3 to the power of minus 1. Now, when we apply with the responsible powers of both sides, that is m to the power of 0, L to the power of 0, t to the power of 0, or we equate, what do we get with respect to m? We shall start. With respect to m, if you observe, here you can see directly here itself, its value is how much we are having. So m to the power of, on the LHS side, its value is 0. We have taken it here. Then we have only one m term here, and its to the power of 1 into c1 is c1. So therefore, the value of m what we get is, that is c1 is equal to 0. Similarly, we need to find out for L and T. So L, for L, what you can see here, 0 is equal to a1, here minus 3 into c1, minus 3 c1, it's 3 plus 3. So and after equating, what we get the value of a1 as minus 3. Similarly, we get for even t, that is t power is 0 here, which is equal to minus b1 here, again t to the power of minus 1, that is minus 1. b1 value is minus 1, which means the value of b1 is equal to minus 1, the value of a1 is equal to minus 3, c1 is equal to 0. All these values a1, b1, c1 we put in this, substitute in this particular equation such that we get the value of pi 1. So what is the value of pi 1? Let us see now. The value of pi 1, you get it as pi 1 is equal to b to the power of minus c, because a1 value is minus 3, n to the power of minus 1, b1 value is minus 1, rho to the power of 0 or q. Or rearranging the terms, what do we get now? We get it as pi 1 is equal to q by n d cube. This is the equation for your pi 1 term. Similarly, we have to for pi 2, pi 3, and pi 4. Let us see. Now, pi 2 is equal to here, the exponent's value. Now, for the equation 2, we are going. So, what we write? D to the power of a2, n to the power of b2, rho to the power of c2. Second remaining variable is now, we have taken discharge q. The second remaining variable I have taken as energy per unit mass flow, that is GH. Now, we will apply the dimensional homogeneity on both sides. After we apply the dimensional homogeneity on both sides, we can write them in the form of dimensions on both sides. That is, we get it as M0, L0, T0 with respect to the values on the RHS side, that is diameter A2, L to the power of A2, speed to the power of minus 1 into B2, then to the power of C2, and energy per unit mass flow dimensions we have written. Now again, we'll equate them with respect to M, L, T on both sides. With respect to M, 0 is equal to C2, similarly L, T. So after equating them, what do we get? Let us see here. So I get it as, you can see here, one by one, I have written here the things. So after equating M to the, we have got C2 is equal to 0. Similarly, equating L, we get it as A2 is equal to minus 2, because 0 is equal to, this is A2, then minus 3 C2, which you have see here, it is of minus 3 C2. Similarly, the last term L square, it is plus 2. After equating it as A2 is equal to minus 2, then for T, 0 is equal to B2. You can see here, for T, that is minus B2. Then we have having the last term, that is, you can see here, it are written as minus 2, or B2 is equal to minus 2. In other words, what you can say, that the value of B2 is minus 2. Once you have got the value of A2, B2, and C2, substitute in the above equation pi 2 term, you will get the resulting terms. How you can, after substituting, what do you get? You get as pi 2 is equal to d to the power of minus n2, n to the power of minus 2, rho to the power of 0, gh. Or if you rearrange the terms, what do we get? We get it in this particular format, that is pi 2 is equal to gh by n square d square. This is for pi 2. Similarly, we need to do for pi 3 and pi 4. Now for pi 3, we have taken discharge, we have taken energy per unit mass flow, which is the third term which is remaining for us. It is remaining is the power itself. So now I write as d to the power of a3, n to the power of b3, rho to the power of c3 with power as my third term. Now when I apply dimensional homogeneity on both sides here, what do I get? Let us see here. When I apply the dimensional homogeneity on both sides, what do I get here? Yes, this is the term, and I apply the dimensions of power here. You can see m L square to the power of minus 3. Now again, simplifying with respect to MLT on both sides, I get these terms. C3 is equal to minus 1, A3 is equal to minus 5, as well as B3 is equal to minus 3. So after simplification, the same step which you have done for the other two, pi 1 and pi 2. I will substitute these values in the above equation, and the resulting pi 3 term we get here. Let us see what is the resulting pi 3 term we get here. Pi 3 is equal to d to the power of minus 5, n to the power of minus 3, rho to the power of minus 1 into p, or pi 3 is equal to p by rho n cube d to the power of 5. This is my third pi 3 term. Similarly, for the fourth pi 4 term, now the remaining variable is the viscosity which I have taken. It is the dynamic viscosity. So I will apply the dimensional homogeneity on both sides again. Yes, the dimensions of dynamic viscosity I have written here, ml minus 1 to the power of minus 1. We will simplify with respect to the dimensions m0, l0, t0. What do we get? We get the values of C4, A4, B4. So once we get the values of C4, A4, and B4, we will substitute them again in this pi 4 equation, such that we get the values of pi 4 in the simplified form. Let us see what do we get after substituting the values of a4, b4, c4 in the pi4 equation. We get it as pi4 is equal to d to the power of -2, n to the power of -1, root to the power of -1 into mu. Or rearranging the terms, we get it as pi4 is equal to mu by rho n d square. So there were four n minus m values 4. We have found out all the four pi terms, pi1, pi2, pi3, pi4. Even you can choose this problem by changing the value of repeating variable. You can take it as viscosity and also get the solution. So similarly, another homework problem I would like to give you is here. The next question, if you observe, this is the homework problem. Here it has said that a thrust of an impeller, sorry, of a propeller, thrust of a propeller, it is assumed, thrust of a propeller, it is assumed to depend upon the axial velocity, which means this is your dependent variable. Thrust is a dependent variable and depends upon which one? It depends upon axial velocity of the fluid. It depends upon v velocity, density rho, mu, n speed, diameter. So total how many number of variables we are having? This is the number one thrust variable. This is velocity is the second variable. Density is the third variable. Viscosity is the fourth variable. Speed is the fifth variable. Diameter is the sixth variable. So automatically, how many number of variables we have? N is equal to 6. M is equal to fundamental dimensions, that is the 3. So automatically n minus m, how much we get? N minus m, how much we get? 6 minus 3 is 3, which means how many pi terms we should find out here now? Pi 1, pi 2, pi 3. Then you have to write down the repeating variables. For the repeating variables, I have told the conditions. All should be dimensionless. Second important thing is you cannot choose a dependent variable as independent variable, which is our dependent variable here. Here thrust is our dependent variable, so you cannot take this as your repeating variable. Then no repeating variables should have the same dimensions. That is not there here, no problem. And the other important thing is they should have geometric property, flow property, as well as the fluid property. They should have geometric property, flow property, as well as the fluid property. So therefore, if I take for this particular problem, I can take one of the repeating variable as geometric property d, flow property as a speed n, and again I can take a fluid property this one. Then the remaining variables which I am having is one is the thrust, and the other one is the viscosity and the velocity. These are the remaining variables. So use this method and try to get the solution. If you have, after the solution, you can send me an email or send me an email such that I can go through your solutions. So if you have any doubts, you can send me an WhatsApp or an email also. So we shall stop here, students. So in the next class, we'll be discussing some more things on the introduction part.